Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you all? I hope you're all well. And joining me on this exciting evening where, a little bit into this video. Once I've got a few questions out the way, I've got some exciting news to share with you all. And I hope that excitement is reciprocated, to be fair. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit of an anticlimax, really, isn't it? But there we go. Let's start with the usual weather report. Weather's been absolutely shite today up here, that's for sure. However, it's warmer, which is a very, very good sign, I think, for all those with the unheated ponds. Over in the Telegram group, we have actually set up a dedicated channel for people with unheated ponds, and it's proven to be a popular one. And it's more there as a bit of a counselling topic as well, really, to share the stress of having a pond like that at this time of year, because the uplift right now, I mean, despite it being wet, it's been t-shirt weather all day. It's just bonkers, absolutely bonkers. But there we go. And this is the first week as well that we're not streaming on Facebook, so just on YouTube now. It might take people a while to migrate back over. But we don't get a lot really from streaming over on Facebook, to be fair. So I'm just want to keep question time now dedicated to YouTube alone. So that's that one. Sorry, just another reminder, video is going to be actually doing all the selection tomorrow to get the fish photographs. So we're going to be filming the full video about all the details about taking part in the winter Shuda Growout event, which those fish they're already flying and looking absolutely fantastic. I'm just going to get my phone up and check the date because I forgot to write it down. So the selection for that is going to be on the 27th, the selection event where all those fish are going to be listed individually on our website for you guys to track down who owns it and hopefully get that purchase, the purchase of the fish that you're looking for. But 295 quid for a banging Shuda Utsuri that is going to be grown on by me. If you want any evidence of what I can do with one of them, just look back on the channel, you'll find it. And then, by the end of January, the growing will stop, and then we will overwinter them until the end of March. All in on that price. Absolutely madness, really. You're going to end up with a banging Utsuri, all in on that, ready to pick up in spring. So fantastic. Sounds good. Other than that, guys, I'm going to start with questions. So if you've got one lined up, feel free to start firing them in, and I'm going to get stuck into some shortly. It is obviously koi harvest season. Oh, wow. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I mean, grown-up choice being sat in the UK, working on all this business, this stuff and these products and not being out there. However, what has been amazing, Rie from our team that we're starting to build over in Japan has been harvesting with Takano today, which is awesome. We've got some amazing video footage come through that we're going to chop up and hopefully get out this week. Fingers crossed. Having to play around with some cool stuff for the style of that video as well. So stay tuned. And before I forget, Sunday, you'll probably see a preview of it on the channel already. We've got a fantastic video being released all around selecting or how to select Go Sankey when you're working within a budget or getting the most for your money is the general emphasis of it. Based around Go Sankey, as I say, I did this when I did the Sakamaki pond selection the other day. And Aaron's done an amazing job of putting it all together again. And I think there's some really useful information for you in there. So that's premiering on Sunday at 9 a.m. In the morning, I believe. I'll be around while that's premiering. If there's any questions, you can tune in on the live chat. Other than that, it'll be there on the channel for you to watch when you're ready. So stay tuned for that. But exciting stuff. Nice to get some of that footage over from the harvests. Let's not forget, I've still got boots on the ground there, so I'm fully aware of what's going on. But we're obviously looking beyond really the Nisai business and already doing the groundwork, even purchasings, ready for all the new Tosai stock for next season, because that is where we excel and we're out there in front of everybody with that stuff at all times. So very, very excited for that. And she's at the NND Champion Mud Pond Harvest tomorrow, so I've got a feeling when that crops into, I've got a bit of a glum day because that's always an event on the calendar that I love attending. And Normally, there's a bit of a guest of honor, to be fair. I'm the only one who lets get stuck in wrestling the fish that are normally in there. However, that is what it is, but we are going to get some amazing footage of it. And then, yes, as well as that, the 3.8 million fish that I've got in Japan, it's nice to keep getting some updates on them. Had a few from NND this morning, but I've had 2 from Dichi Toyota that I'm going to share with you after my announcement, I think, because yeah, I think they give a bit of an inclination. But yeah, they are blew my mind the other day. There's just levels, and the both of them, but one in particular, to be fair, just was absolute madness. So it's going to be nice to keep getting them through. There's quite another horde of fish still at that farm alone to see, and some lumpy stuff as well, to say the least. So yes, all good, all exciting stuff. So I am going to get stuck in. Yeah, that's it. I have been cutting it back, mate. Yeah, you're right. It's bonkers, absolutely bonkers. Any update on Koi Talk magazine? Yes, Andy, we're working away on that still. Hopefully, not going to slip too far off a deadline, but we are working on, I say, trying to get 2 done in one. I do like putting myself under pressure, but honestly, right, the whole team right now just going like absolute lunatics. Good fun. Can't complain, but I will. Yeah, so questions. Let's do a few questions first of all. And we will... Oh, that's it. Just a reminder. I'm going to remind you again probably a couple of times throughout this, but in the description below, or in the video description anyway, you've got links to our WhatsApp group and Telegram Koi community. Yeah, the Telegram community is just coming on an absolute dream. It's nice to be interacting with people and just see how everybody in there is sharing really sensible advice. No bitchiness, no egos. There never will be, because I won't allow it anyway. And yeah, just helping people. It's phenomenal. So, you know, get yourself joined. If you haven't got Telegram or you're not used to it, it's a social messaging app just like WhatsApp, and it's a free download. And then you can just get yourself signed up and in. So absolutely amazing. Before I get into some questions, let's see who we've got in this evening. Looks like we've got a few of the guys over in America as well. Evening, Ant. Craig, Mark, Paul. Oh, Paul bought me a gift, actually, at Battle of the Breeders. I've not had a chance to catch up with him yet. It was absolutely fantastic, Paul, by the way. I'm loving it. Although when I looked it up, the wife says not a cat in hell's chance I'm buying that at that kind of money. She was not having any of it, mate, but we'll see. Richard's got it right. Look, press the like button. It really does make a massive difference to the distribution of the video, guys, and it's greatly appreciated by me. So many of you in again this evening. It's amazing. The continued support every week, guys. Honestly, it's fantastic. Crikey. Right, I'm going to keep going until we get to... I can feel the anticlimax. The wife's watching. Crikey. Now I feel under pressure. Ball bag, evening, buddy. Wow, crikey. Here we go. Question up on Craig. Let's go for it. Quick question. I have a toe-side Deutsch shower with a little Sumi, but not much. Am I right in thinking Sumi and Benny can come from nowhere on a Deutsch koi without it showing us underlying? Yes, Craig, you're absolutely right. Regardless of that, it's a very, very young fish, pal. So don't be rushing into any decisions about it yet. You know, if you get to a solid kind of 36 months old and it's not showing any change whatsoever, then you might want to, you know, start thinking, is this going to do it? Fascinating. And with stuff like that, you can make a decision, maybe move it on. You put the fish in some different water, and before you know it, it starts progressing. Fascinating stuff, Sumi, it really is. But yeah, right now, buddy, you just need to give that some time and see where you get with it, pal. But yeah, Deutsch fish, they are the very, very tricky ones to Terence finally got to make starts. Fair play, buddy. Yeah, it's fantastic to watch Deutschfish, how they can evolve, but they do leave a lot on the table. And especially with the Benny, I mean, there's such hard, when I'm growing toast, I honestly, they do my nutting because there's very few tells. And a lot of the time with the selection and reading the Benny, it does just come down to experience. It's very hard to translate that to somebody of what you actually look for, because you don't get any, like with scaled fish, we get the sachet, especially with Gosanki, and it's such a great way to read what's going to happen. None of that in Deutschfish, none of it at all. Paul, hi Ricky. Have you ever used hydrogen peroxide as a standalone treatment other than neutralizing PP? Says can increase oxygen, remove sludge on the label. Right, yeah. So hydrogen peroxide is also an oxidizer. It's good stuff, but it's there for emergencies. Now, I don't like it. It's good to have in your cupboard. If you are using PP, it can remove, obviously neutralize, but by neutralizing, basically it's a bigger oxidizer. It goes over the top. To some degree, it's like having a double dose of potassium, but potassium stripping oxygen, hydrogen peroxide will put it back in. So if you are just neutralizing, not under pressure, I always prefer sodium thiosulfate for doing that. However, peroxide, again, in disasters. Now, let me share with you one here. I can't remember. I think it might have been, no, it weren't last year, 2 years ago. We had a fuse blow on one of the main boxes on the pole, and it outed everything. And it was a bit of a weird do, all of it, to be honest with you. My dad was keeping me in loop, and I don't know if it got a bit overwhelmed or out there, but everything was apparently fine. And the next breath, we're under pressure. So I bolts up to the farm, and yeah, I was on a fucking knife's edge, let me tell you. Obviously was getting the backup generators and stuff sorted. But in the meantime of that, I had ponds that were rolling, and we managed to get a load of hydrogen peroxide and started dosing that, which for sure bought me some time because the water was lacking, as well as bucketing water like crazy. It was mental. It was the word for it. Just a weird situation how it all played out. But in the end, we recovered it all. We did well. But hydrogen peroxide played a fantastic part in that. We just dosed every single pond with it. And I say the generators kicked in and away we were. But it's useful for that, but not something I'd go just chucking in all the time willy-nilly. And the effects of it are only going to be short-lived. If you want to increase oxygen permanently, you want to be looking at, different water movement patterns and stuff like that. So, yeah, but good question, that, Paul. Parent, evening, Ricky. When do you start receiving toast that were bred this year? We will have shipments in at the end of this month. NND, these super crazy jumbo Tosai Kaku. I mean, wow. They're going to be in 28 to 32 cm when I bought them, and they're still in the mud pond at the minute at 5 months old. Absolutely wild. They've just took it up levels this year. NND are actually challenging themselves to try and raise a 60 centimeter Tosai, which, trust me, is going to be an ask, but fair play. Let's, see what they can do. And well, I've already told him I'm going to go toe to toe anyway. See what we can do over in England. That's for sure. North Links Koi, yeah, amazing. Come for a look round this week. Crikey, guys! I remember last week. I mean, Christ, it was mental. Got nowhere near the bottom. Do it for us. Hi, thank you and the guys helping out on Telegraph. Yeah, amazing, buddy. That is exactly what it's there for. Koi Boy, good evening. Would you be able to tell me what's a reasonable temperature to have my pond over winter with or without covers, please? Well, if you're without covers, you've got I presume you have got heating in that. So if you are heating without covers, let's say best of luck to you. Be a struggle, but if you keep it at 8 as your lowest end, you're going to do well. You're going to keep everything ticking over nicely. I really probably won't be bothering to feed. You might find on a sunny day just literally a few pellets, but other than that, I'd stay away from it. But like I've said many a times, 8 to 12 is my optimum for winter if you're dropping off. Don't get me wrong, guys. That's no saying your koi will keep safely down to 4 degrees. They will keep lower, but you're starting to be on thin ice a little bit. It's getting a bit dicey and dangerous. But yeah, 8 to 12, if you've got the choice, would be my optimum without going mad for it. And then, like I say, if you're wanting to go warmer, you then go to 18 as a bare minimum. Don't keep it in that in-between land. It's a waste of money. You're going to get nothing from it and potentially cause yourself, well, do more harm than good, really. Lee got his Sankey I've been growing on. Nice one, buddy. Glad you're happy with it. Koi aquaponics, sensitive topic alert. Can you share what you know about winter work, pattern cutting, and plastic surgery that breeders engage in? Yes, you're right. It's a sensitive topic. It is something that is done in Japan, not all over the place. A few palm, and don't get me wrong, it's not as if this is like the first time you're hearing this, you're going, "What the fuck?" It's really not, you know, all that. It's minor stuff. It's not actually all that invasive. And like I say, a few farms partake, but yeah, that's it really. It's as much as I can share with you. It's not going to be something for everybody, but it's one of these things. I think Asia, you actually see a lot of this. There's some stuff actually, speaking about it, is Indonesia. I think I've seen it come out with Deutz fish with these mental patterns that are all artificial. And I really don't like that, because I know that some pretty aggressive techniques being used to do that. Not only that, they look fucking awful, if you ask me. So false and nasty. And that kind of stuff I really, really don't like. But yeah, it's one of them things. Every industry has stuff like that. But like I say, it's just with the few really, and not the masses. Hi, Ricky. I have a Shisui and Kikiko who have lost their Benny in the summer. All Go Sankey and Benny Goy in the pond have great Benny, which improved in summer. Feeding Saki, Akari Grove, colour 7030. There we go, Rad. So, yeah, Shisui, again, I've just mentioned it earlier, like with the Deutz fish, Kikiko, they're all very, very hard to predict. You are rolling the dice. It's one of them varieties. If you want stability, the biggest and best thing you're going to do is to buy them older, to be honest. Like I said, when I'm growing these, so much is left to chance, and they're just really, really difficult. That's why a lot of the farms who do produce this stuff get such low yields of top fish, but also you tend to find when they do get the good stuff, they absolutely charge the earth for it, because they know how much has gone to shit in the process of getting them few good ones. Not to put you off, though, it is all part of the challenge. It's part of the fun. But like I say, it's very, very hard to read it. And it's very hard for me to be able to tell you guys what to look for, because it is so much experience of just knowing how colour looks. One point I can give you is uniformity is very important. So if you have got patches within the Benny on a Shisui, for example, that's a bit lighter, that can be a worry, especially when they're younger, or any gaps appearing in it. Ignoring the fact sometimes you can get scales overlaying colour, which will create a white effect. It's tough, but that's probably the only little tip I can give you. The rest of it just comes down to practice. When's your first shipment of short bodies coming in? Yeah, yeah, there we go. I do get it. Don't get me wrong. Some of the short-bodied koi that comes up, Ryuki collects quite a few, and he's actually got quite a phenomenal collection of them. But yeah, not everybody's bag. But just like the long fins, there'll be people out there love them, people hate them. Hey, what the hell? But you know, if some of them looked impressive, there we go. We'll see. No doubt I'll end up getting hooked on it, but I'm busy enough. I think I take it to the extreme with my goldfish, to be fair, because they don't look much more deformed than that lot. So there we go. Andy, what is the best way to keep on top of ammonia in ponds? Make sure your filter system's set right, Andy. Make sure it's mature. Make sure your KH is stable, and control your feeding and keep within the limits of what your filtration system can do, buddy, to be fair. If that's an established pond and you're having ammonia problems, you've got to look a bit deeper. And there's being something fundamentally wrong with the system. But KH will be one of those. If you get a KH crash, you will get almost instant ammonia and nitrite spikes. And ammonia tends to be the one that comes the quickest as well, to be honest. Hi all, just treated for flukes. I found on my shear up soaring it's looking a bit red. Will it be okay? What else shall I do? Lee, right. So has it gone red? Was it red prior to the treatment is what I kind of need to know there, or has it happened since the treatment? Either way, if it was before, what you're going to need to do is just give the treatment time, make sure the flukes are cleared, and give it time, let it get through the medication, then see how it is. If it's happened after, it could have been a reaction to medication, maybe an overdose or something along them lines. So at that point, you're going to have to be more careful. You might want a bit of heat and some salt in there to help that recover. Or it might just be that that fish is sensitive if it's the only one. But even still, that would still be the same. Salt bathing is not the same as having them in a salt solution in the pond with the heat to go with it. And Miller, I wanted to set aside some Nisai that I've seined up and the pond and wondered how long you can leave them in a float. All right, there we go. Yeah, 2 days. 2 days is fine. What you need to be careful of is the quality of the net. So I had some Japanese ones that just made for purpose, phenomenal, lasted me years, cost a fortune, but lasted for years. And they were always great. Obviously, if you put it in too small a net, it's really going to rummage a lot. So that bit's important. 2 days, generally, you'll be okay. But we changed and got some of the new Superfish ones last year or 2 years ago, whenever it was. And within a spate of no time, putting bigger fish in them, we got nose rub. And just instantly, you see the quality of the net are just worlds apart. So it's more abrasive to the fish. They're fine for small fish. Bigger ones, just be careful. But the worst that is going to happen is they might just rub the end of the nose a bit. So don't panic too much. And yeah, 2 days is not a lot of time. We've got, when I buy fish in Japan, they might be sat in a net for 2 weeks, maybe even longer than that before they get shipped. But it is what the eventual condition is that you want to worry about when they're in there for that long. There we go, guys. I'm just working through. How do we join Telegram and WhatsApp? Links are in the video description, buddy, and you can get on them from there. It's coming. It's coming. Don't worry. Right, let's have a look. Lee Oliver. Hi, Ricky. Heated my pond to 23, nearly 24, partly covered now, and I've got the feeder going well. My pH has dropped from 8.2 to 8.4 down to 7.8. I've never had it below 8.2. Is it normal? Yeah, Lee, I'd say what's probably happening is might be worth checking on your KH, because likely heavier feeding at that temperature, more natural acidification in the water will be bringing that pH down slowly, as it's indicating there, and you might be getting a drop in your KH as well. So all perfectly normal, but do be aware when you've got them conditions, you'll burn the KH a lot faster. So you want to keep on top of that to save your system crashing out. Good evening, Eric. Oh, there we go. Thanks for the Telegram group helping me find a Tancho Goro. Yeah, so a few of my dealers are in there as well. And I think, yeah, Sunny Banks helped get all that sorted today, which is pretty cool. Oh, dear. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah. So the gift Paul got me at the event was because he's heard me speak about it on here a bit before. Is a probiotic that you actually drink. It's been pretty cool. But yes, you're right, buddy. And it is Sake Akari for humans. Very, very good stuff. Richard Bold. Hi, Ricky. Apart from clear water, can you explain any other benefits of UV, and should I run throughout the winter? Yeah, you might find, Richard, you'll get away without running it in winter. I see no harm in leaving it on, but there's no real other benefits. It's generally a UV clarifier is there just to, and they don't actually destroy algae. What a UV does is actually split single cell algae is incredibly small. The UV actually splits the edge of the cell and makes it sticky. And then at that point, more of those particles of algae can clump together so they become big enough for the filtration to actually remove it. So that is what they're there for. It's what they do. They will help just with clarity in general. If you want to leave it on, obviously the UV in England is absolutely diabolical during winter. So you'll probably find you don't need it, but maybe just worth leaving it on anyway. There's no harm either way. Carl, hi Ricky. What would you suggest for treating a chag with a damaged barble and corner of the mouth? It happened about 6 weeks ago. It's not got worse, but not healing either. So not got worse, but not healing. I suggest a topical treatment, and Tamidin is very good. It's quite a thick iodine by Vetark, I believe, and I think that's a fantastic product. All you need to literally do is just lift it out slightly, apply a bit, probably do that a couple of times, get the fish back in, and then maybe a few days later, come back to it, but don't overdo it either, because the stress of catching and all the rest of it will be too much for the fish. Crikey, guys, you're keeping me busy again tonight, aren't you? Oh, there we go. Track back, Robin. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, sometimes the water-based treatments just won't do the job. So I would go with a bit of topical treatment on that one, like I said. Jack Weston, what's a good website for buying high quality fry? I've got no idea, buddy, but all I can say is I think you've got Cuttlebrook and Adam Bayer over here. Both seem to do a fantastic job. Admire what they do, to be honest. So I think that's going to be your best shout. So, Dichi Toyota. You might have heard, guys, if I put that back on, that somebody's got some Dichi Toyota and some Mariyama Kaku and Ginnerin Kaku. All just a rumor. But there's also been some crazy talk I've seen somewhere about some kind of Mariyama versus Dichi kind of madness, Growout eventy type thing. Who knows? But I'll keep my ear to the ground anyway and find out if any of them rumors are true at some point. And if I do, I'll be sure to let you know. Recently finished my pond build and want to cover it for the winter. Would a polytunnel be adequate, as funds are a bit tight now? Hoping to add a heater next year. Absolutely. Polytunnels are fantastic. I love the things. Nice thing with it is you've got good UV penetration through the polythene as well. Just go with, I've used the standard clear visqueen, none of the ones that fuck about with light, because you don't want that. Get it whacked on, buddy. It's going to help you for sure. Take that wind chill off and just trap in anything that you can. So yeah, I'd advise it 100% if it's doable. And even when you start heating, it's absolutely nothing wrong, cut your costs down. But it's nice. What I'm not a big fan of is covering close to the surface. I could save myself a lot of money by doing that, even in my polytunnels and in the outside area, but I won't do it. I like to just leave, because I like to see the natural behavior of the fish as I'm walking around. It makes a big difference, and it can allow me just to spot problems very, very early on, which tend to be different if you've even got half a pond covered and half up or something like that. You're not seeing the full picture of what's going on, which is a stress. But like I say, if you've got an outdoor pond, you've got to do what you've got to do. But my choice, if you can do it, would be to leave yourself some kind of decent viewing of the whole pond at some point. Joseph Edwards, what quarantine procedure would you recommend for new fish? I mean, if you've got a separate quarantine facility, your biggest thing here, and this is where I look at quarantine from our perspective, you've got to do your work beforehand as well. So our work regards biosecurity and quarantine work starts in Japan by knowing what breeders are doing, how they behave. Is it a farm that's bringing fish in from all over the place, or buying parent fish from crazy sources, stuff like that? Are they keeping up with all the testing programs properly? Have they got a shady history? All kinds of things there. And this is not just related to any one thing. It's related to a lot of things. So even from your side of the fence, that should start with the dealer. Are they trustworthy? Are they reliable? If you've seen the fish, have you got a shop full of sick fish? I've always said it. If there's signs of bacterial disease in any tanks, turn around, walk out, don't buy. That should never be in a retail premises. And yeah, if things aren't right, just leave it. That's it. And you'll soon get, reputable dealers have been around for a long time. You will get to know by being in communities and things like that, who's good and who's not. So that's where it starts. Then if you're getting it back, you've got a separate facility. It's really just about resting it for me, because your worries and prattling around with them for the likes of KHV. If you really want to, you can ram the temperature up into that trigger zone, 2 to 24 degrees, and you can mix fish. If you've got a couple of fish that are naive fish, you can mix them in there. But really, honestly, you've got to induce a lot of stress during that period. But if you're buying reputable, that work should be done. So then it's a case of just adapting it to your water, probably giving it a week, maybe a scrape, seeing if there's any parasites there, medicating accordingly, getting it well settled, and you just being happy with it over, say, your 4 to 6 week period before you release it into your pond. But dealers are probably on it more than ever at the minute. The ones buying from us in particular have got our robustness to rely on as well. So I think a lot of that stuff for me, honestly, so much. You can get caught out still, don't get me wrong, but so much of that legwork being done up front. And I've said it before, there's a breeder, particular one in Japan, who specializes in a variety, who has had positive tests for KHV 3 times now. And after the first one, for me, it was like, right, okay, that can happen. Second time, you're thinking, Third time, absolutely not. I won't go near the place. Great guy, absolutely smashing guy, but I am not risking my business, my reputation, and there's just the sheer amount of fucking fish I've got already on site from some guy that clearly can't seem to get his shit together. So I think that's really, for me, where it really does begin. And then, back there, it's just about keeping it right. But even quarantining at home, you can get that fish settled, introduce it into your main pond, and still find then you'll have problems, could potentially have problems with it settling in that first sort of 7 to 10 day period. It's perfectly normal. Their immune system tends to take a little dip. That makes them vulnerable to parasites and even just mixing from viral illness and stuff like that. So really, the more you can do to stress them along the way is actually the best you can do in quarantine, but you've got to really stress them. And one of the best ways a lot of the time is through constant mixing of different environments, because that you expose them to a lot more issues. And honestly, you see it at times, the speed at which we can make fish fall, when we know as well from certain breeders when they come in is quite remarkable. So I hope I didn't get too waffly there for you, Joseph. Christ, we've done half an hour already. That's mental. Right, let's get a couple more questions, and then we should get stuck into it, because I'm actually getting near bottom at the minute. Deutsche Sorry gets a bit of pinking on one lateral line. Don't know why. Everything is stable otherwise, i.e. water, clean scrapes. That can happen. It just can be a thing with lateral lines. They can be quite sensitive. You might tend to find that it will come up, go down a bit, and that'll just be a process. Probably, unfortunately, that fish will go on with forever, unfortunately. Lloyd, right, I've noticed over the weekend that one of my koi has koi pox, and so does one of my Miracarp. I've got a beautiful chag, but none on her. I'm dubious about adding any new fish in the spring. Any advice? Carp pox is not something we generally worry about. In all the years I've done this, I've only had one extreme case, and God, that was mental. It was indestructible carp pox. It didn't even shift at like 28, 30 degrees in height of summer. So that was mad. But other than that, it's just going to come and go. It rarely causes any kind of serious illness. As soon as it warms up, Lloyd, it'll come. It should go. So I really wouldn't worry about it from in that respect. It was red before. I did have high Lee nitrates or nitrites, just for clarity. So got that down first, then treated the pond. Pond's at 14 degrees. Yeah, I think what you need, Lee, to be honest with you, is some heat, buddy. Might help out that scenario. And like I say, nitrates or nitrite. I do have to check that, because that's from a lifetime of working in the shop and people coming in saying, "Oh, my nitrates all over," and you know full well it was Nitrate, because there's a big difference in that one. Susan, what should my flow be through my K1 moving bed, 55-gallon drum with 50 litres of K1? As Susan, I'm going to need a lot more information. Oh, there we go. She's got it below. Like how many gallons per hour? 2,600 gallon pond. So if that's the light, I'd be looking at around 1,300 gallons, and you should find that I'll run absolutely fine at that one, Susan. This is not to criticise nor discourage anyone, but is it pointless to buy expensive koi with the goal of max growth when your pond is simply too small to support growth? No, I wouldn't say so, because what is too small to support what growth, to be honest with you? And it's not, if you want to absolutely max them out, you can grow big koi in a small amount of water. It's been done. It can be done. I'm probably the biggest proof of it with what I'm doing with the big fish, even in the 3,500 gallon ponds. And you see what I can do with the others. I think the big thing here is, for me, if I was looking at it at the highest level, and I mean the highest level, when it's done at the highest Japan show standard level, big fish need big ponds. Water volume equals volume. And it's the ability for the fish to swim and build up muscle that really helps in all that process and gets that extra 5-10%, which postures them into a big show fish and just looking absolutely mental. But it can be done in a smaller pond. But again, it's what is too small. And you can get phenomenal growth. And I think overall, again, the quality of the fish, I mean, does it have to be expensive? That's just another kind of caveat to that whole question, really, to be honest with you, buddy. All right. Do the Dichi brothers ever cross over Oyagoi? Only ever see Mona Lisa line, for example, come from Shigeru? Yeah, so I think you asked me about this side, didn't you, in the Telegram group, and I said I was going to answer it. Just give me a moment, folks, because he did put it another way, and I said I'd do it because it was a bit too in-depth. I'm probably not going to be able to find it now, am I? Let's have a quick look. Because, yeah, Dichi Toyota, this is a really interesting one. So just for background for you guys, there's 3 Dichi brothers in the whole operation. And it's across 2 operations as well. So you've got Dichi in Niigata and Dichi in Toyota City. That's run by Hiroshi, who is the middle brother. And Dichi Niigata is run by Shigeru, who's the younger one. And Futoshi Mano, who is the boss, really. He's the older brother, the oldest of them. I knew I weren't going to be able to find that. Anyway, we'll wing it. So, yeah, the lineages. So all of the fish and the farms and everything's running the same way. All of the fish of Dichi Toyota originate from the one pot of Dichi Oyagoi. What has happened is he's took different strains in Toyota, potentially older strains. He's worked on his own. He's evolved them. Kinsen's his own baby down there, one of my absolute favorite fish and favorite lineages out there. But he doesn't take them all. So he's taken bases, as the Niigata operation has, and then they've evolved them over time. And that's kind of how the split's gone. And yet there are ones that are now more unique to Dichi and Niigata, and one more unique to Hiroshi in Toyota. Just like the new Showa lineage is trying to create the Pandora lineage, which is crossing of Maraju Showa with Dichi parent fish. So that's going to be unique to them in that respect in Dichi Toyota as well. Just like Super Monster was created in the Dichi Niigata operation, which was the crossing of Momotaro Showa into the bloodline. So, yeah, there's differences, but the ultimate thing is they all come from the same original base set. So they do share really all the characteristics. They're all very much Dichi fish, just some with their own quirky attributes coming from the individual parent fish along it. But in all that, Dichi Toyota, honestly, one of my favorite places to go, because it's clearly a Dichi operation, even when you visit. Very, very grand, very well run, very organized. just Hiroshi's just different. He's one of the lads. He's wild, and it's like visiting and dealing with a small breeder, but it's Dainichi still. But within the community of koi in Japan and amongst breeders, when we get talking, like when I've been at Minima and places like that, the lineages that Dichi Toyota have are very, very highly regarded. I think that's mainly due to the history and the ones he's kind of chosen to develop from that old pool. And it's real depth to the quality, not always the flashiest patterns and things like that, but real depth to the quality and characteristics that shine through. But I just don't think he gets the same attention as the Dainichi Niigata operation does. Maybe that's because, I mean, they are, really pushing the limits there more so. You see the scale of the two. I mean, it's bonkers. As a combined, they're an absolute powerhouse. But, you just see the auctions. Don't get me wrong, the fish carry some value. And it tends to be when he puts the fish up that does all of a sudden have that flashier pattern, that's when you see the competition fire up and you get a real battle for it. But I've had some real strong finds that I've paid very, very good money for. Don't mistake that. But if there'd have been Dainichi Niigata fish, I think there'd have been more attention on it and probably wouldn't have got anywhere near them. And a few outliers as well, which when you understand his fish and you can go on the journey and the time, as I am doing with a lot of them, that's when you really win longer term. And it's actually the two fish I'm going to show you in a little bit are two Dainichi Toyota fish, and they're absolutely exceptional. Right, guys, I suppose, and sorry to everybody else that's gone at it just there. We'll see where we get to, but getting to it. So, been very, very, very busy for a number of months now, working on a few projects, pulling a few things together, and me antagonizing with some decisions that I have found incredibly tough to deal with, being honest, and get my head around. It's been I'm not somebody who likes to let people down. And there's been a lot of feeling in this in relation to Koi Wholesale and the clients and everything that I have there, which will make more sense in a moment. But it's fair to say 3 years ago, I started this journey on YouTube, and I've absolutely loved every single minute of it. And I think the impact I've managed to have seemingly has been quite incredible, which really does warm my heart, because it's the only reason I ever started it. Was I was pissed off with the amount of misinformation, and it's still just the reason I do it now. And it's just to promote the joy of koi keeping, keep it simple, maximum enjoyment. That's exactly where I'm at. But from that has come over the time period stuff I never expected. Obviously, the cry out for people wanting fish from me. And I have stayed incredibly loyal to my dealer network all along. Obviously, I've built myself a business over 13 years now that has been successful. It's provided me a very nice lifestyle as well, but primarily on the basis that I get to do what I love every single day and do it 110%. So we've tried really over the past couple of years, as many of you have seen, to accommodate everybody in what we've doing. We've tried quite a few things. Many of the times I wouldn't say failed, but they haven't gone as I hoped, when we're trying to involve obviously numerous parties along the way. And yeah, it's tough because I'm a perfectionist. It's something I have to work on, actually, that it don't become overbearing for people. And I like things to be right. And I think out there, I've kind of expectations are high with things that I do, and sometimes that doesn't translate through to you guys in the end when we've been doing stuff. Not in every case, but in a lot. And that's kind of left me in a spot where it's like, not only that, I've got a picture that's been kind of brewing in my head from the day I got into this, really, but it always evolves, and YouTube put a spanner in the works with it, really. And just all the social stuff really opened up the magazine as well. What might be possible to do and how cool it might be to do some of these things along the way. So with that in mind, and obviously along it, there's been you guys actually asking me for one thing quite a lot that crops up, and let's say I've antagonized with this, but a few months back, we made a decision to build out a new service that is ultimately going to give all of you guys what you've been asking me for, really, and allow me to further indulge in a part of the industry that I absolutely love, and further kind of increase the interaction that I can have with all you guys as well. So I am going to tell you a little bit more in a minute, but for now, I'm just about to load a little video file that we've been working on. Hopefully this all goes to plan. So yes, I am going to play you a little video here, which will hopefully give you a bit more indication of what I am launching, soft launching today, mind, as our new service. So let me roll this, and we'll have a bit more of a chat about it when I get back.
You will soon become the witness to see the quality of the fish. We are not just growing the commodity of the fish, but we are growing our dream and passion.
This is koi, the Japanese way. I need some more medicine for my koi addiction problem.
Definitely.
So there it is, people. Today I am announcing the soft launch of my new retail brand for quality Japanese koi, Ricky Stoddart Nishikigoi. Now, I say a soft launch because there's a lot of work on this, but just to roll out, it's going to roll out now over the next few weeks to the point where we're going to have a full service that's built around, initially around an online experience. This is the crucial part of this because the site up at Laneham is one which we haven't actually got we can't have a mass footfall there because of planning restrictions. So we're going to start rolling this out, and this is going to make the best quality products I have available at the farm in Japan when I'm there, fish I'm growing on, the whole lot, amongst other stuff, available to all of you guys with the full support of the whole team. The whole thing is me creating a retail experience here that I feel is absolutely the way that koi should be done and can be done, but it's also the way that I do it. And that is what I want to share with you all. So it's going to just pull down all the barriers and allow me to do it the way I've wanted to do it for quite a long time now, to be fair, and start this picture that I've painted in my head, start fulfilling it, and just, yeah, let's go for it. Let's go for it and have a route. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know what rating, Ray, to be honest with you. So it's going to start with, you're going to see the channel changeover. The channel name is going to become my personal hub as Ricky Stoddart. You're going to see that. So first of all, that'll be one change. There is a new, I say a new, I've actually had a Facebook page going for this for quite a while. And I've actually been using it to showcase all the high-end fish that I've kind of been collecting and mucking around with over the years. There is a link to that in the description as well. You'll see all the branding change over on there, and that page become more prominent as well. And yeah, initially all of the selling is going to be done through the Koi Wholesale WhatsApp group is going to become the Ricky Stoddart Nishikigoi one. And as well as that, the Telegram group has our pondside sales that we've factored in already, but it's going to be very frictionless now. If you work with any of our dealers, we're still happy to liaise with them and do it, but we are just here to say make it as frictionless as possible and just start really showing you all the quality that of fish that I'm sat on at the quality level. So yeah, exciting stuff. There's more to come as well. I just don't want to go too mad with it all right now. Like I say, let's get this bit out. There's a phenomenal new website in development as well. There's going to be a holding page going up for that in the coming days, and you'll be able to sign up to our email-based newsletter as well to get some exclusive updates on all that. So, yeah. You won't believe we've really worked on that video just a lot. I really wanted to create something that really encapsulated what I want this to be, what it can be, and yeah, you get the whole vibe. You know, this is Japanese koi the way that I do it and the way that it's done out there and should be done. So yes, amazing stuff. I'm going to play you that one more time, and just because I like watching it, to be fair, and then we'll get to this little bit of koi appreciation that I've got as well. So yeah, feel free to get yourselves in the Telegram group, the WhatsApp, and stay tuned for more news coming out soon. That's going to be, let's say, the whole telephone setup, the job lot, but the whole focus is building this experience around the online, because that's what I've found with this as well. You know, all these tools get to allow me to interact with so many more people, and yeah, I just can't wait. So on that, let me just load up these other two videos, because this will give you an idea. Now, the level of this, the focus is really on the quality side of stuff. Now, Koi Wholesale, please make absolute no mistake. Koi Wholesale is my baby. It's still there. I've got a phenomenal team now in Colin and Chris and the other lads who are taking great care of it all. Obviously, I'm still producing the fish, and we're still pushing and growing that business and doing the absolute most that we can. It's all there, and we're doing more as well. We've got more to roll out that hopefully, you know, just allow that whole interaction and make sure we've got our fish are available in so many different places. I've absolutely lost my thread there as well. I'm trying to do too much. Let me get these videos up. Yeah, so anyway, Koi Wholesale is exactly that. Still there, absolutely banging away, doing what it's doing. And Ian's going to be in trouble, by the way, in a minute. Just while we push and develop this. And then the next picture you're going to hear is how this ties in with something very, very exciting in Japan as well, which, as far as I'm aware, has never really been done by a dealer in the UK. So that's going to be exciting. But yeah, as I'm getting back to it, this kind of quality level, you know, big emphasis. My absolute love and passion is with the kind of fish you see on them posters behind there. Now, I know they're not for everybody. I've dealt with a couple of clients over a number of years now who do deal in fish like that, one of which you're about to see. But my aim is just the real focus of all this is to make the best quality koi I can through the methods that I know of, all the buying knowledge that I've got, as accessible and affordable as we can. And you will see this roll out. But on that, a couple of fish here. So these have actually been really, really interesting journeys, these two. Let me just show you another video. First one I'm going to show you. This is actually a male Dichi Showa, 58 cm. This piece, honestly. So I bought this as a Tosai out the auction. Again, I think overlooked. Now, when we found out it was male, or actually, if I remember right, we forgot to ship it. And typical me, it stayed. Hiroshi raised it indoors, but only small, because he kind of thought, right, this will be going to be good for the koi show. So kind of raised it as a bonsai koi to begin with. And it did well. It didn't quite completely go to plan. We had a crack at the show last year, but I don't think he got the raising quite right. So he's grown it indoors again this year, put it back in. And I'm not going to lie, when I was doing some inventory recently, I completely forgot this one and left it off, which is shocking. And I'm just working away the other day. I got a couple of videos through, and you're going to tell me off for even forgetting something like this existed in a minute. This is the video that I received. I think holy shit springs to mind. So he's absolutely pumped it on this year, somewhat crazy. And what a fish. What a piece. This actually, I posted it in the Telegram group and it got snapped up. It's just bonkers. I mean, it's even, I think because of how it's grown, it's sat the sumi down a bit, which I'm going to expect to come back really strong this winter. It's even, you know, the Benny's not quite, it's kind of retracted a little bit, but you can see how much pigment is wedged in the middle of them scales. On top of that, you've got, the qualities just ooze. It's technically so good. Patterns to die for. Oh, man, what a fish. What a fish it is. There we go, guys. FWQ, you've got it. It's bonkers. So, yeah, that's now going to be conditioned up and hopefully go off competing in the male division at the All Japan. It's all it's coming down to is the sumi, to be honest. The sumi's not there yet for it. If it doesn't quite make it for that, fingers crossed, it will make it for the Wakagoi, because it's in size for that as well. But what a piece. Honestly, that farm, mind-blowing. Absolutely, mate. And then this next one. So, speaking of Dainichi Kinsen, the FWQs are still coming through. Mike, no, it's not for sale, buddy. Let's say it did get snapped up when I posted it in the Telegram group, mate. This next one. So, this is a Dainichi Kinsen lineage offspring. One of the younger generations of it as well, because it's a purer strain. He's done a lot of crossbreeding on it since. Now, this fish was the first major purchase I made from Dichi Toyota. There was actually 4 fish at the time, and they were ball busters. I went deep at that moment, and I was just feeling it. I thought, why not? It might have been 3 fish, 4 fish, 3. Anyway, it was 3. 2 shower and this Kaku. And this, I was expecting this to really run in the auction, because what this fish was, and I'll demonstrate when I play the video, it was kind of all head and shoulders. And I think people really missed the point of it, because I think it's like a 60 centimeter Nisai. Phenomenal. But the head, the bone structure, everything, the belly, the pattern, it just oozed it to me in my eyes. Although it wasn't cheap, I was expecting it to run double where it was out of this auction. So I managed to land it, which was awesome, because it's as deep as I'd ever gone on a fish at that point. And I did actually end up selling it. So the hobbyist who's bought it is one of the most prestigious collectors in the UK. Not really anybody too many people will know of, because he's quite a private guy. And he bought that off me. It's actually the first fish that I sold to him. And it's been growing on there ever since and doing the business year on year. So it's now 5 years old, and I probably should stop waffling now and actually show you the video. But are you ready for this? We might need something other than FWQ right now. So that fish there has been grown indoors this year, 5 years old, 82 cm, well on the path to 90, and with its genetic potential is going to hit 90 and go beyond it. There's absolutely no question. Benny, actually, because of the video and the lighting, it takes a bit away from the intensity of the Benny, but just look at it. And you can actually see, when you look at the bone structure, you can see there's quite a strong taper from mid-body. But that was really exaggerated when the fish was younger, because what needed to happen was it needed more flesh, fat and flesh on there. And I mean, yeah, just fucking wow. I don't even know what to say about it, really. This is extreme. And that's from that Kinsen. You can see the characteristic in the Benny as well. It's phenomenal. But for me, it's the, you pick these fish at Nisai, you question yourself at the time, wonder why didn't anybody go that extra mile for that one? And I do believe I know why in that case. They overlooked what it was going to do. and its body's still only just maturing. That's the scary thought with this fish, right? The body's still not there yet. The next year, when that is indoor raised again, I think she'll hit 90. I've not yet discussed with him whether they'll be growing over winter, but we will get very close to that 90 mark. I don't doubt it. Actually had a bit of a bad year last year. So from Yonsei to Gosei, that fish has actually gone from 75 to 82 cm. So it's not really out of reach to be talking nearly 90, but the levels of extra mass that will come at that point are just phenomenal and all over it. Insane piece. And yeah, I can't wait to see where it ends. But body line wise, it's just absolute perfection. Great job he's done. It's a strong fish as well. That's what I liked about that type of body line. I could see it was a naturally really strong fish. And FRWQ, love that one. Don't get me started on that, Wayne. Oh God, that one's, and get some mileage out of that in a minute. Love it. Just bonkers. And that's, this is the side, I share little bits of, but this is going to be right in there, the mix with everything I'm doing. But trust me, I'm going to make what we're doing as accessible to everybody as we possibly can. So before I clock off, I'm just going to run you that video one more, guys. Now you've got the full context around it.
You will soon become the witness to see the quality of the fish. We are not just growing the commodity of the fish, but we are growing our dream and passion.
This is koi, the Japanese way. I need some more medicine for my koi addiction problem.
So there we have it, people. I look forward to rolling out more. You'll see it on the channel, any updates, but please get yourself in them groups. That's where you're going to hear it all first. Get on the new Facebook page. As soon as I'm done here, I'm going to flick all that over so you can see that lovely new branding. And stay tuned. I promise you, the first bit of merch for that is going to be on its way soon, because I'm in love with that new logo, to be fair. And I think you'll all look absolutely fantastic wearing some gear with it on. But yeah, other than that, that is me for now. Say all will become more clearer over the coming weeks. But for now, we've already got an absolute arsenal of fish photographed up, ready to start firing out. So if there's any wives watching, I do apologize. And other than that, guys, you might want to lock your wallets away. But yeah, there we go. I appreciate you all tuning in. And like I say, stay tuned for that. I know Ian's mentioned something in there about another event we've got coming up, but I'm not going to say too much more about that now. But I think we might get round to that announcement next week. So a phenomenal one to stay tuned for. And that's got absolutely nothing to do with any of this Maruyama versus Dainichi kind of Battle of the Breeders online winter event malarkey. I think that's all just hearsay. Well, there we go, folks. And yeah, probably the last time question time is actually going to have its own, just become its own kind of branded up thing now, sat on the channel. And you will still see on the channel a mixture of everything that I'm doing. There'll be koi wholesale stuff, Ricky Stoddart, Nishikigoi stuff, koi talk stuff even. That's why I'm just making it the one umbrella. So thanks, guys. Thanks for your continued support. And I look forward to selling you all a fish sometime in the near future.